What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this conversation.
Well. Look, guys, let's just go ahead and get into this because I told you, I told you that when he made that announcement about him stepping away from ESPN and he'll be coming back, around the time of the NFL preseason. And I said, I really believe that this man has a lot of nerve to come out here and make a statement like that when he knows good and GD well that more likely than not, ESPN is done with him, but they're allowing him to spin the narrative to just go ahead and get in front of the story. Because with a situation like he was involved in and had alleged to have done, I just did not see that happening. And then he settles the lawsuit, tries to settle it quietly, tries to spin the narrative that the plaintiff and their attorney did not show up to court. I already told you guys what that was about. And now it's been confirmed. All of the media outlets all over reporting that he is done. ESPN has fired Shannon Sharpe. So ESPN has cut ties with NFL Hall of Famer and media analyst Shannon Sharpe less than 2 weeks after he settled a lawsuit in which his ex girlfriend accused him of RAPE. Sources briefed on the decision told The Athletic on Wednesday. Sharp has not been on ESPN since late April when the suit was first filed. He said at the time that he would return to ESPN at the beginning of NFL training camp. ESPN declined to comment. I'm sorry. I am definitely not laughing at anybody's downfall, but it's just like the nerve of him. N- I, I, I I would never have any respect for him. Let's just put that out there. But I would have had more understanding for his statement if he just said that he has decided to step away and left it at that. But for him to have the audacity and the gall and the pride to just say, I will be back, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's like, nigga, please. Anyway, the woman known as Jane Doe in the suit, and I will add this that he doxed and put her information out there. So now we know to be Gabrielle Zuniga was seeking 50 million for pain and suffering, psychological and emotional distress, mental anguish, embarrassment, and humiliation. Sharp publicly denied the allegations immediately after his accuser filed the suit in April, calling the case a shakedown attempt. He has maintained that he and the Nevada woman were in a consensual sexual relationship. And, you know, when he says that type of stuff, or any man for that matter says that type of stuff, it doesn't matter if you at any point in time had consensual sex. But if the woman says no, that's rape. Period. I know a lot of men who have this God complex or this, feeling that someone owes them something and you're spending money on this woman and like, no, it doesn't work that way. And I know a lot of men may not agree with this, but you could even be married to someone. If a woman says no, it's rape. Even Ivana Trump said that Donald Trump raped her. It's out there. You can, and they were married. Okay. I'm not, this is not even about him or that, but I just wanted to point that out because I feel like he felt him saying they were in a consensual sexual relationship that gives him the right to ram his rod up her backside when she was saying no, and she put it out there. Anyway, and it's disgusting, but let's continue. Since retiring from the NFL, Sharp 57, niggas knocking on 60, but let's continue, has had a long media career, first as an NFL studio analyst and then as a sports talk host at FS1, where he rose to greater prominence debating Skip Bayless on Undisputed. After that run ended in 2023, Sharp joined First Take as a twice weekly foil for Stephen A. Smith, another loudmouth, but I don't believe that he's that stupid. Stephen A. Smith is obnoxious, but I don't think he's this dumb to be doing stuff like this. So I don't think any woman is ever going to come out to say that he's ever done anything like this. But you never know. But I'm just saying. Sharp continues to have his podcast, Club Shay Shay and Nightcap, where he teams up with the former wide receiver. I'm sorry, guys. That title, that label, and just knowing what Shannon Sharpe was accused of doing is just ugh. Anyway, Chad Ochocinco, both of which have been distributed by The Volume. Before the suit became public in April, Sharpe was closing in on a major podcast deal that may have been worth as much as 100 million, as Front Office Sports reported at the time, and sources briefed on the situation confirmed to The Athletic. The woman's attorney, Tony Busby, announced the lawsuit's dismissal in a post on X on July 18th, but did not specify the details of the settlement. A dismissal with prejudice means Sharp's accuser cannot refile the same claim against him in the same Las Vegas court, and no criminal charges were filed against Sharp. And I'm going to say yet. So, let's talk about it a little bit more, because the thing about Shannon Sharpe with I've heard a lot of guys say that this dude is just trash. I will never watch him again. There are still going to be poor people that will support and will stand up for him and feel like he was railroaded. He just had to, give her the money. She wanted it. And then she, flipped everything around. She started recording things so that she could get back at him. And this was all a setup. And like he said, a shakedown. But it wasn't. These were his choices, okay? And the networks, they have to protect their brand, and she was a victim whether people want to believe it or not. And with the power that he had to say things to her like he said to her, to do the things that he allegedly did to her. And I will say, not even allegedly, he did do to her, because he settled. I don't care if it's written in the settlement agreement that he doesn't agree to it. He does not admit any wrongdoing. He is just settling this matter so that he can close this chapter and move forward. He has a history, okay? And previously, networks protected him because even though the allegations that he had against him were big, they weren't bigger at the time than what they were getting, because they don't really care about the victim. Let's be clear about that. So, let's talk about the power and the fame and the profit and how it can silence accountability. Because Shannon Sharpe, he had for some, a larger than life personality, but he's faced these serious allegations similarly in the past, and he's still in the middle of litigation with Michelle. And how ironic that he did this fake, I'm going to say fake, screwing somebody named Michelle, where it's the audio and he went live and then that went viral, and then he was promoting an erectile dysfunction pill. Freaking weird, you know? But instead of facing consequences, he rose. And it's because he brought in the views, the money, and he had a loyal fan base. So for networks, that was more to them than the allegations or even the truth. So, because he's been the subject of disturbing allegations in the past, accusations of harassment, being controlling, RAPE, you know, it led to a restraining order. But a lot of people didn't know about it. It was kept quiet. And some of the issues in the past were quietly resolved or dismissed. And so there definitely was some smoke there, but it didn't impact his on the screen, on the internet rise. And he kept rising and rising. And for a lot of Black people, and I don't know why it's like that. And I'm not saying Black people shouldn't be happy for Black people, but we should not celebrate wealth. We should not celebrate money. We definitely shouldn't idolize or worship these people. So when people who are detractors or they are critics, and they critique things that they see that are actually real, that are actually truth, you have Black people that will respond to those critics and say, "Oh, you're just a hater. You're jealous." What? Are you freaking crazy? So why didn't the stories get traction? And it's simple. It was the money. He was good for business. The viral clips, the heated debates with him and Skip Bayless and other people, Stephen A. Smith. He became a cultural influence. A lot of people didn't even know anything about Shannon Sharpe in terms of sports because they weren't into sports. So it brought in even more younger, diverse audiences. And that's what advertisers crave because it gets more eyes. So the networks, they play defense and not for the victims, but for their bottom line. And so there's nothing unique about the story because it's about the revenue when it comes to these networks. Okay. So the talent, they get protected if they can possibly do that and they can make this situation go away, you know, if they can produce profits. So unfortunately, with this situation, this one was just really, really loud. Okay. There was no way they could cover it up, even though he tried to settle it quietly and tried to make it seem like the plaintiff and their attorney didn't show up to court and something isn't right about this because there were people out there saying that, oh, he got to win. He got to win. And I was like, not so fast. And I was right. So just like I said, I did not believe he was coming back to the network. I believe he has been fired, but until it was confirmed, I couldn't say he actually was. It has now been confirmed. He's been fired. I'm not sure if there are going to be any criminal investigations happening. And who knows? There could be a criminal investigation going on right now that we just don't know about. I'm not wishing that on him, but accountability is accountability. And RAPE, some people may say, oh, she just wanted the money. Well, that's the only power she has right now in the civil justice system. The justice is money. It is up to the prosecutor whether they either want to pursue, press charges, and hold him accountable in the criminal justice system. We don't know if she's filed a police report. We really do not know that. So, anyway, guys, I told you he was fired and now it's been confirmed. I really want to know what you guys think about this. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.
Talk to me.